Hey, what's up everyone? This will be August 2025's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles news roundup video. So we've pretty much rounded up all the TMNT news stories that broke in August that we covered and put them all together in one big video for you to enjoy. It's a perfect way of catching up on all things Ninja Turtles or to just listen to while doing stuff. The video's got chapters so you can skip around to the different stories. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. I hope you enjoy the video. All right, so we got a little bit of Ninja Turtles news to discuss. This time it's coming over here from arrowvideo.com. And you can see right there that they're going to be doing 4K UHD versions of the 90s Ninja Turtles movies. So all three, Ninja Turtles 1990, Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, and Ninja Turtles 3, which was later titled Turtles in Time. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the details. Let's look at this one first. You can see that this is the Ninja Turtles Trilogy limited edition 4K UHD box set with like the movie poster as the cover. You can also see right there that they're available for pre-order now. If you look a little closer at the different discs, you can see that the first movie will have like Shredder's helmet or Shredder's head and the four turtles kind of in the forefront. Then the second disc for Secret of the Ooze looks like has Super Shredder in the background with the four turtles dancing to Ninja Rap in the front. And then the third movie looks like it has the Time Scepter with the four turtles like in their samurai gear up front. That one's kind of hard to tell, but that's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and read the description. It says, restored in glorious 4K and packed with extras, this radical set celebrates the legacy of Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael in one of the most iconic franchises of the era, blending innovative effects, comic book heart, and early 90s attitude. And then we jump down here to product features and we can see that it says 4K Ultra HD limited edition contents. So let's go ahead and go through some of this. You can see it says 4K, so 2160p, Ultra HD Blu-ray presentations in Dolby Vision, HDR10 compatible of all three films. New 4K restoration of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so the original movie, from the original 35mm negative by Arrow Films. And then under that, it says new 4K restorations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and 3 from the original 35mm interpositives by Arrow Films. So yeah, it looks like they did a different method to get the original film in 4K. And it seems like they used a separate method for the second two films. Then under that, it says original lossless stereo audio and remixed Dolby Atmos surround audio for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so the first movie. And then it says original lossless audio and remixed DTS HD MA 5.1 surround audio for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and 3. So that's it for like the technical stuff. Then down here, you can see some extras. You see it says a brand new director's commentary for all three films. So that will be awesome to listen to. That in itself to me is worth it. And then you can see under that, it says brand new cast and crew interviews for all three films. That'll be cool to see who they got. Then under that, it says perfect bound collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film by Simon Ward, John Turani, and John Walsh. Then it says reversible sleeves featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Flory. Then it says more to be announced. And then under that, it says full list of extras to be announced on September 26th. So when that drops, we'll talk about that in one of these updates videos. So yeah, that's pretty much the specs on the box set, but let's go ahead and take a look at another listing that they have here on the site. And you can see that this one is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Trilogy Arrow Store exclusive limited edition 4K UHD box set. So this one has different artwork on it, and you can see it's a drawn version of the 1990 Turtles, which is pretty cool artwork. You can see that the discs are also different as well. But other than that, it looks like the content on the discs themselves are the same from the other box set. And one more thing to round out this news story is you can see over here that they also have two versions of this box set, but in Blu-ray, which is cool, but I think the 4K UHD is the bigger deal. A lot of people have been asking for these movies, specifically the 1991 in 4K, for a long time. But that does it for this news story. I'll leave a link down below as the pinned comment so you guys can go check these out. But yeah, let me know what you think. Are you going to be picking this one up? Also, what are some of those bonus things you hope to see in this set? Maybe some deleted scenes, things like that. Let us know down below. All right, the next bit of Ninja Turtles news has to do with the Last Ronin movie that had originally been reported was on the way a while back. And really quick, just for those who don't know, what the reports were saying was that Walter Hamada would be producing the film. I think he was one of the main producers on the old DC movies before this recent relaunch with James Gunn's version. But yeah, reports that had come out before had mentioned that he was going to be the one producing this Last Ronin movie. Then after that, we heard about who would be writing the film, and that was Tyler Burton Smith, who wrote Boy Kills World. So yeah, up until that point, it had just been like news outlets and stuff reporting this stuff, and nothing official really came from Paramount until we got a little bit more info from like a catalog that was talking about the different IPs. It talked about stuff that Paramount was working on, and one of those things was the Mutant Mayhem sequel, and then it mentioned the Last Ronin movie. This is the first time anything from like Paramount side of things had mentioned it, but still there hadn't been like an official announcement, and still to this day there really hasn't been like an official announcement from the studio, unless you count that thing from the toy catalog. And I do think some of the creators of the graphic novel have acknowledged it as well. But anyways, that's kind of what we've heard up until this point about this movie. But now there is some new info that we haven't discussed yet here on the channel, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. So yeah, you can see here, one of the big outlets discussing film reported that the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin movie is still in the works. The film will be rated R. That's what they reported on, and you can see right there it says sources from Deadline, and I think the information is coming from this article here. Some of the other outlets that were reporting this linked to this article as well. And you can see the headline, it says Paramount's movie priorities under new Skydance owners include Top Gun, Star Trek, and more. Execs expound on vision. And yeah, just real quick also, if you haven't heard, like Paramount just went through this like merger thing. So yeah, the studio is pretty much under new leadership. And yeah, this article is kind of talking about like what their priorities are going to be. And yeah, it's cool to see the Ninja Turtles in there. But yeah, I think that those posts that we talked about a minute ago were referring to this excerpt here from this article. You can see it says, following the success of the animated pick Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the studio moved fast on a sequel, dating the next film for September 17th, 2027. So Mutant Mayhem 2. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are back to produce, with Jeff Rowe, Kyler Spears, and Yashar Kasai directing. So the same team as the first movie. And yeah, that universe is continuing on. But then there's a final sentence here in this excerpt that says that Paramount also have a live action version based on the graphic novel that Hamada is producing. So you can see that the words are kind of interesting there. They say live action, so it's different than the Mutant Mayhem Turtles. And they also mention Hamada, which was the producer attached to the earlier reported Last Ronin movie. But for some reason, it doesn't refer to it as The Last Ronin. It just says based on the graphic novel. So I did think that was interesting. Anyways, that's not the only bit of news on this that's come out. Let's go ahead and take a look at another article. This one is coming over here from comicbook.com. And you can see right there from the headline that the Ninja Turtles co-creator, Kevin Eastman, did an interview with them. You can see right there, it says, speaking to comicbook.com at San Diego Comic-Con, Eastman revealed that he's serving as a consultant on The Last Ronin, which Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles IP owners, Paramount and Nickelodeon, are reportedly developing as a gritty R-rated take. Then you have a quote here from Eastman that says, they do not have to bring me in to be involved in any parts of anything, but they bring me in for the comics, the cartoon shows, and to consult on the movies, especially The Last Ronin, Eastman said. I just adore that, and they are wonderful. And then you see down there, it says Eastman elaborated that he's been in touch with screenwriter Tyler Burton Smith, but that he couldn't confirm reports that The Last Ronin will be rated R. Then you get another quote from Eastman, and it says, I'm really excited what they're doing and what they're going to do with it. They're all saying it's going to be rated R, but until you know officially, we'll wait for word from them. So yeah, to me, it tells me that this is like in a really important part of the development phase. The decisions made like here now in this window are going to determine how good this movie is, obviously with the execution as well, once they start production. But yeah, this is a big moment right here for this movie. Then you see down here at the bottom of the article that it says former DC Films president Walter Hamada is the producer on The Last Ronin, which is set to be the first live action Ninja Turtles movie since 2016's Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows movie. So yeah, that stuff that they reported on before still appears to be what's going on. But yeah, at least now what we know from what's being reported is that it's still on the way. And yeah, that's pretty much all the new info on this Last Ronin movie. But yeah, let us know what you think down below in the comments. I just want it to be good. While all the live action movies they've been cool, but nothing's ever been as cool as, to me, as that original 1990 movie. And I just think the Ninja Turtles can be done so good in live action. And it's wild to me that it's been so long since we've had something really, really cool that's a live action version of the Ninja Turtles. And fingers crossed everything comes out good with this movie. All right, so the next bit of Ninja Turtles news has to do with the upcoming Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus comic event. For those who don't know, the Battle Nexus in Ninja Turtles lore is like a big multiverse tournament. If you watched the 2003 Ninja Turtle show, you may remember Michelangelo won the tournament in that version of the Ninja Turtles. But now we're getting a whole new Battle Nexus, this time taking place in the IDW universe. Now it is a multiverse tournament, so it technically takes place in all of the universes. They're all experiencing it. But I think with a little bit of the info that has come out already, it's safe to assume that we're going to follow the IDW Turtles and how they navigate this tournament. Let's go ahead and read some of the new info here. This is coming over here from IGN, and you can see the headline reads, TMNT Battle Nexus pits the multiverses Ninja Turtles against one another. The Turtles of the movies, TV shows, and comics are brought together. Then we read a little further down here, and it says one of the bigger announcements to come out of San Diego Comic-Con 2025 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Battle Nexus, a new series that draws on the entire TMNT multiverse. While the Mirage Comics version of Shredder will be one of the main players in this fighting tournament, it seems that fans can expect many different incarnations of the Turtles to put in an appearance. So yeah, when this was first announced, it was revealed that the original Mirage Comics Shredder, so the black and white comics version of Shredder, will be the main villain in this event. And if you remember from that initial announcement, it seems like that Shredder teams up with 2012 TV show Metalhead, the IDW Comics version of Slash. And I believe they said that this would be the debut of IDW's version of Ninjara. So that's the group that it looks like the IDW Turtles will be dealing most with in this story. But as you saw there in the headline, the Turtles from the movies, TV shows, and comics are being brought together. Let's go ahead and take a look at which versions. There is some more info here in the article. You can see it says IGN can exclusively reveal that each issue of Battle Nexus will include a backup story that pits the Turtles of the movies, animated shows, and comics against one another, all due to the machinations of the villain, Mr. Og. The matchups featured include, and they did have some artwork, some variant covers that show these matchups. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Looks like the first matchup will be the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the 2024 Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series, or the Mutant Mayhem Turtles. They are the same turtles. The next matchup we see there is Eastman and Laird's Turtles, so the Mirage Comics black and white turtles, versus the Rise of the TMNT Turtles, which that's going to be an interesting matchup because the original Turtles are so brutal in their fighting style, very ruthless, whereas the Rise Turtles aren't really like that, but they do have their mystical powers. The next matchup you see here is the 1987 show Ninja Turtles versus the TMNT Adventure Comic Series Turtles, so the Archie Comics Turtles. Which funny thing about that is that the Archie Comics started off as comic versions of the 1987 show Turtles, but then ended up branching off and doing their own thing. So they have a similar origin, but two different lores. And then the last matchup that you can see here is the 2003 animated show Turtles versus the 2012 animated show Turtles. That's a cool matchup. Both are fan favorites. Curious to see which teams are going to end up on top. As we discussed a minute ago, you did hear that they said these are backup stories to the main story, which I believe the main story is going to focus more on the IDW Turtles and the Mirage Comics Shredder. And it seems like these backup stories will only be one page. You can see right there, it says these one-page backup stories. So all these matchups will probably get one in each issue leading up to the finale. Will be written by TMNT TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures writer Eric Burnham and drawn by artist Sarah Meyer, with colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. So overall, I think this is a cool concept. It will be cool to see the 1990 movie Turtles back in action for the first time in 30 years. I saw a lot of people in the comments discussing how they did the Batman 89 comics not that long ago in reference to the 1990 Turtles, maybe doing something similar. That would be pretty cool to see, but as we're seeing here, a one-page story, probably at the end or maybe somewhere in the middle of each one of these issues is where we're going to see these matchups with the main storyline kind of being weaved around that. Last bit of info here is that the first issue of this comic event, Battle Nexus, will be released on November 12th. So that's when it'll hit shelves at comic book shops. But it does say there is a final cutoff order of October 6th. So like if you're ever going to your comic shop and they never have enough of the Turtles comics, you're probably going to want to go and pre-order this before that October 6th cutoff. That way you can secure your copy. All right, so the next Ninja Turtles news story has to do with the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show. This information is coming from an interesting place. It's coming from a recent Playmates results briefing, pretty much like their quarterly report showing how they've been doing and stuff. They did one of these not that long ago, and they mentioned the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show and some details that we didn't know about before and that we're now finding out. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. You can see at the bottom of the report there, they highlight the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show. They say Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Movies are developing 4-season series that will serve as a bridge between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem and its sequel, Mutant Mayhem 2, which is slated to release in 2027. So yeah, Mutant Mayhem 1 came out in 2023. Then in 2024, we had season 1 of Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we knew we were going to get 2 seasons, but now it seems like that's been pushed up to 4 seasons, and that's probably because the movie got pushed back a year, which when I had first heard about that, I thought, oh no, that's a big gap, 2023 all the way to 2027 for the sequel to Mutant Mayhem to come out. People could lose interest. You never know with these kind of things. And me as a fan too, I was just thinking like, oh, I want something to keep watching while I wait for the second movie. And yeah, when they initially announced Tales was coming out, that was cool because it was going to fill in that gap between the movies. But then when that gap got bigger, that feeling of like, oh no, came back. And now with this announcement here of 4 seasons, all taking place in between the 2 movies, makes me feel a little bit more relieved. Like, oh, cool. Now we're going to be able to, continue the lore and see more of this universe until their next big outing in Mutant Mayhem 2. I think this was a smart correction on their end if this wasn't the original plan. Now they got to execute this. I think it should be a little bit more impactful than season 1. Season 1 felt a little like they didn't really progress the story anywhere. I hope they do a better attempt at that in seasons 2, 3, and 4 here before Mutant Mayhem 2. Anyways, let's keep reading here. It says, Season 1 of the spin-off series titled Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was released on Netflix earlier this year. And yeah, that is true. It originally premiered on Paramount Plus in 2024, but then yeah, it came around to Netflix. But then down here, you can see it touches on the upcoming seasons. It says seasons 2 to 4 are scheduled to debut on Paramount Plus, so like season 1 did, this fall, so 2025. And that matches up with earlier reports that we saw earlier this year about the release date of season 2. So that lines up. But then check this, then it says, and will run through spring 2027. If we kind of step back and take a look at everything, Season 1 came out in 2024. Season 2 here is going to come out in fall of 2025. I would imagine Season 3 will be in 2026. And then Season 4 will be in spring of 2027, leading up to Mutant Mayhem 2, which if you remember got the release date of September 17th, 2027. So it seems like right now, starting in the fall, we're going to have a lot of new lore to discuss here having to do with the Mutant Mayhem universe. This is a big deal. And then there's also the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic that was recently announced. So yeah, get ready because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out soon from their end. And we'll go ahead and talk about it as much as we can here on the channel. Then finally down here, you can see it says we are actively developing new products to coincide with the upcoming content. So expect new figures, new merch, stuff like that to come out when the new seasons roll out and the new movie. And that's pretty much all the new info we got there on Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How do you hope they handle these upcoming seasons? What did you think of the way they handled season 1? Did you like the approach of the stories having may or not have happened? A quick explanation for those who didn't see season 1, the way they approached it was the stories we saw as an audience were stories being told by the Turtles themselves. So they may or may not have actually happened in like the overall lore of the Mutant Mayhem Turtles. My headcanon is that these events did happen, but when the Turtles retell them, it's just like more exaggerated versions of what happened. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the characters from the show, even though they haven't been introduced in the movies, pop up like in the background and stuff. And also with Splinter, they didn't have a voice actor for him, and they either had him doing like mouse noises for the first half of the season, or it was Raphael impersonating Splinter in the second half of the season. I feel like that's the stuff that they really need to improve on in these future seasons. The stories in these new seasons need to feel like they're impacting the main Mutant Mayhem universe just a little bit more. They need to do more world building that actually is happening in their universe. I think each season should build on each other, with the movies being like the biggest add-on. That way it feels like it's progressing and it doesn't feel like a bunch of random stories that don't really matter. It's still fun, but I think it could be a little more. I think we'll really know where this is all going once the Shredder is introduced, and that was already announced for the second movie. So either way, we're building up towards that, and that's going to be super exciting to see. But it'll be cool if this build up to it is impactful and raises the bar from season one. The Turtles have a lot of fans that like to see when they like build these rich worlds, kind of like the IDW Turtles. They're now over 150 issues, and everything from the beginning to now all connects. It all stacks on top of each other. And I think the Mutant Mayhem universe could do something similar for animation if they just tighten that up a little bit. That way it all kind of connects a little better. All right, so the next bit of Ninja Turtles news is coming over here from collectpcs.com, so Premium Collectible Studio, and they recently dropped a new statue based on the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie version of Raphael. Let's go ahead and take a look at it and go through all the details here that they have on the site. Okay, you can see that we're looking over here on collectpcs.com, and you can see right there, Raphael 1:2 scale or half scale deluxe edition. And you can see the price there is pretty up there, and that's because this is a pretty big statue. Let's go through some of the details here. We can see that the description reads, Premium Collectible Studio is proud to present the TMNT Raphael 1:2 scale statue deluxe edition, a titanic tribute to Raphael as he appeared in the classic 1990 film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Standing at an impressive 34 inches tall, so just a few inches shy of 3 feet, the Raphael 1:2 statue is sculpted in incredible detail, from the textured reptilian pattern of his skin to the realistic leather-like appearance of his belt, knee, and elbow pads. The sculpted details are made even more apparent by the excellent paintwork throughout, metallic finishes on Raphael's belt and thigh, as well as realistic glass eyes add additional contrast to this piece and tie in nicely with the glossy finish of the museum-style base. The deluxe edition also includes a bonus collectible of Baby Raphael. This adorable companion piece may not have mastered the art of ninjutsu yet, but it sure knows how to handle a slice of pizza. Get off your shell and pick up the TMNT Raphael 1:2 scale statue deluxe edition by PCS today. And yeah, you can see there some images of this statue, and I'm liking the proportions. They got everything spot on, in my opinion. He has the essence of how he looks in the movie. We can take a look at the back of him here. And yeah, the shell just looks great. One of my favorite things about the Turtles from the 1990 trilogy was like the texture and look of their shell. Even in the third movie, their suits don't look great, but their shells still look awesome, at least on the backside. And yeah, if we keep looking at the pictures, we can see the baby Raphael there holding a slice of pizza, and they do have an image of the two statues standing next to one another, so you can see the size difference there. Now, if we look down here, you can see it says shipping date July 2026 to September 2026. So about a year from now is when these things are going to start shipping out. Now, this makes me wonder, are they going to do all of the Turtles from this first movie? I feel like you can't just do one of the Turtles from this movie. It's too iconic. They're definitely going to have to do the other 3 Turtles. And who knows, maybe they tackle Splinter and the Shredder as well, if these do well. Anyways, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about them real quick. All right, so this next Ninja Turtles news story is a quick one, but we haven't talked about it yet here on the channel. So let's go ahead and dive on in. This one has to do with a recent figure from MONDA that they revealed. If we jump over to their site, we can see that they have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles / soft vinyl figure now available for pre-order. This joins their existing line of soft vinyl figures, which has already done the Turtles, Baxter, Mondo Gecko, Ray Fillet, and I think that's it as of now. And yeah, it looks like they're adding an additional figure to the line. You can see it right there. To me, this looks very inspired by the 80s and 90s Playmates version of Slash, particularly with the colors. And I like that, it's super nostalgic, but it's done in the soft vinyl figure mold that they're known for with this line. You can see they're like these chunky boys versions of Ninja Turtles figures. Let's go ahead and read the description. It says, our premium Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soft vinyl line features fully articulated figures inspired by classic TMNT and Japanese sofubi. The ninja nemesis from Dimension X, Slash, comes complete with mutant mace, psycho sai, nasty nunchaku, and razor spiked gnarly knife. Evil accessories can be wielded or holstered for a range of display. And then you can see the artist names right under that. And then we have some pictures here. So you have like the main image there, but then we have this one here with all the accessories. And then there's also this image here of kind of like the scale of the figure. You can see somebody holding it there. And you can see that it says it'll be 8.5 inches tall. Then you have a few more like cinematic pictures there with like a cool background. And then you have one of him fighting the other turtles, which looks pretty sweet there. Then you have an image here looking at his back, and you can see how some of the weapons are holstered. You can see his tail down there and then the spikes going up his back. This looks great. And then we see more cinematic shots there of the figure, but not much else to discuss on this one. Just thought you guys would want to see it since we have covered the other figures in the line. Plus, I kind of like the style of the design. I like the little chunky look. It's different, but it kind of pays respect to like the old classic Ninja Turtles. So there's a little bit of like a nostalgia element mixed in with like, these are just kind of different types of figures. So they're kind of cool. That's how I see them. But let me know down below. What do you think of these? What do you think of this line that Mondo's been doing with the Turtles? Have any of you had a chance to see these in person? What do you think? But that does it for this story. If you're new and you like the video, make sure you subscribe so you can catch more videos like this. All we talk about on here is old, new, and upcoming Turtle stuff. Also share the video to any Turtle fans that you think may enjoy this type of content. I will see you all in a little bit with another one. Take care.